Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Okay, we can actually chant the prayers.
Yes.
I can see it, right? Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna everyone. So welcome you all on our ongoing discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have been discussing the description given by Narada Muni on Varnashram Dharma, and basically he's giving the knowledge to us that how these things are classified and what the real duty of human being is, right? So we have went through chapter 11, and there we had a question about the Varna and Ashram, isn't it? So is it practical in this current days? That was the question, isn't it? And let's try to discuss a bit on that. Won't take much time. Let's discuss in, because it's anyway it's a very hot topic, and kind of uh, it can be discussed a long, but let's try to focusly understand the real meaning, what scripture suggests about Varnashram Dharma, right? And what it says to us. And so couple of first very thing is that, so this is all the Varnashram Dharma are actually meant for elevation towards spiritual activities, right? First point. And the second point, very important, is this is not caste system. Also I said yesterday that uh, there is no superiority or inferiority complex between these two four classes. It's not like that what scripture suggests. So the one which we have made right now, the man-made caste systems, and those are different. But what scripture suggests is a bit actually different. I will try to understand with 2 or 3 analogy here. And apology for yesterday, it somehow got disconnected. I don't know what happened. Then let's try to understand these things again. So the ashrama means what? Ashrama means the place where spiritual activities goes on, isn't it? So when we say grahastha ashram, grahastha is basically, even grahastha has two things, grahastha and grahamedi, so they are different again. We won't go much detail over there. So grahastha is basically a family life or householder life, and that's attached with ashrama, means spiritual practice are going on in that, right? Brahmachari ashram means student life is also being taught the scriptural things, the Vedas and all the things, how to be celibate, how to control your senses, how to control your mind. That's the student life, grahastha. And vanapasthana ashram also, that's the how to ready for renounce everything. And even the sannyasa, that's also ashram. So these are the 4 ashram. And varna, so ashrama are stages of life. Student life, initial 15, 20, 30, 15 years. Then grahastha life, once becomes qualified to earn money, he make his household, and then he increases this maybe till 45, 50 years. That we can say as uh, second, grahastha. And then third stage of life is vanaprastha. He's preparing to give up everything. No more attachment to, everything all settled. As my father used to say, so I will do the Dhammas Yatra when all of my sons and daughters are being married and they are settled. Right. So maybe that's something. So that's one place of vanaprastha ashram. And the fourth stage is sannyas ashram, where he actually renounces everything. Right. And that is basically, as I said, ashrama is stages of life. And then varna is what? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya. So these are depending upon our nature, isn't it? Inclination towards how the person is being acting on this. Right. I'll share one story here. Actually, once in maybe it was in New York sometime here, and Prabhupada was being questioned that you Indian follow these caste systems, or Prabhupada says it's not caste, it's varnashram systems where we have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Sannyas, and Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, all acting in the different areas for making things all together. And then he say, Prabhupada commented that it's there in you as well, in maybe in a foreign land. That's as well. He said, no, we don't have. Then Prabhupada says, okay, let's try to understand. So do you have some intellectual people who provides you some very high thinking and what to do, what not to do? He said, yes, we do have. All right. Then Prabhupada says, do you have some people like army and policemen to control the things, administrative things? He said, yes, we do have. And then do you have some people call it business class who engage in mercantile and other things? The person says, yes, we do have. And then Prabhupada says, do you have some worker class who actually facilitate other things? He said, yes, we do have. And Prabhupada says, okay, let's do one thing. Can you put the worker class in the position of intellectual class, or the person who are intellectual? The person says, are you gonna mad? That person is not qualified to do the work of intellectual. That is why he is working there. And Prabhupada says that's the point. The point is that due to the nature of person, they are working in the different classes. Even a Brahmana, being a Brahmana in the birth, and if he is not studying the Vedas, he is not preaching about the studies of Vedas or not giving the knowledge toward society, then he is not can be called as Brahmana anymore, right? So the thing is that everywhere we have this classification in terms of nature and in terms of stages of life. It's nothing to do with the caste system. Let's understand again. So in the whole body, let's take an analogy of body. In the body, our eyes and mind, they can see or visualize things. When eye sees, the mind can visualize about something and then react, right? So else nothing can they do. I can just see and the mind visualize it, and then other parts of the body act. So that is can be compared as Brahmana, intellectual. He can think. My hand can't think, my leg can't think, my mind can think. By seeing, my eye and my mind can think. That's it. Let's suppose a person has came up to attack you, and if you just think, who's going to act? Either your hand or your leg. Either you run away from there or you fight with the person. And then who's instructed? The mind says, actually, the person who is fighting with you is more stronger. So it's wise to run away. Don't fight, because otherwise you will get beaten. Right. And other way, the mind can say, yes, you are capable of fighting with a person, so you can use your hands and fight with him. So now activities of hand comes. He protects. That's basically the kings, or the second stage or administrative department comes up. So where we see army and police, they combine our help our society to be in a very peaceful manner. Then third thing in our body, maybe we can say as our belly, it nourishes our whole body, isn't it? In a similar way, the business class in the society, they exchange the money, and then the business and material things go on to help to keep the society in a very stable manner, right? And the third, or sorry, fourth is our leg or feet. The feet or the leg, it actually supports the whole body. Without leg, we can't walk, we can't run. So in the whole body, the whole four systems, the mind or eyes, or our hands, which is Kshatriya, our thighs or belly are Vaishyas, and the legs are Shudras, they all completely makes our whole body working functionally very well, isn't it? So as Krishna says that these four divisions are made by me for running the society very well. There is nothing called superior or inferior, right? Let's, for an example, we can discuss it. If a person goes to a temple just for a visit, and is a festival and he is visiting, so we normally see a parking area, some devotee is there, and he is actually noting down who is coming, who is going. That's the one department, right? In another way, when you go to uh, enter temple, some devotee will be standing there greeting you very well. Okay, Hare Krishna, welcome to your temple, kind of that, right? And there may be some devotees cooking in the kitchen, and you don't know him. And even when you enter temple, you see a priest or Brahman who is actually worshipping, doing arti to deities. So these are all four different activities, but actually these four are helping towards the festival of temple. So you cannot say that, okay, the person or devotee who was actually standing in the parking area is not good or not elevated or nothing like that, isn't it? So the point is, this whole four things, the Varamana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya and Shudra, are actually needed for running the society very well. So now we have, because of time and circumstances, the thing has been changed. So earlier the king, they used to consult with the Brahmanas what to do, what not, and they take their advices. And the Brahmanas, they were actually fully surrender, or fully kind of, they are, you can say they are fully, what you can say, and this in Hindi is called nirvar, or they are fully
surrender everything, their materialistic desires and all that, and just follow God.
not material desire. Basically, they would be survived by their all things, by the charity from the from the Kshatriya. Yeah. Dependency, yes, dependency, correct, that's a good word. So they are dependent on Kshatriya. They don't have to go for earning and other things. They are just dependent on Kshatriya, because Kshatriya knew that, okay, they will give the donation and charity for them. In the similar way, the king used to rule, and then the business class, they used to do mercantile things, and the Shudras, they used to work for these things. Even now also the same thing is there, but you may term it in a different way. Let's, for example, when we see for the jobs things, or when we give some exam for IAS or IIT or some very high medical colleges exams. So let's take the example of job. So when we see our human resources, they they in the internet, they say the profile we need a person who is a manager. They don't say that we need a person who is from Hindu, or who is from this country, or that. They say that we need a person who is manager. It means the person who should be intellectual. And even in the same way, we may see some openings or some jobs for the people who can do admin work, isn't it? So that again, the nature, the person been inclined. So it's not a birth, basically the person who was inclined towards what activity, right? So in that way, this whole system are made to make this whole kind of society healthy and working. Even the Shudras, who are low, maybe you can say the fourth grade, but they are faithful to their masters. When they serve, they are faithful, right? In the Kshatriya, they have full faith on the Brahmanas, and the Brahmanas, they don't cheat. they provide the right suggestions and discussion to them. But now definitely the time has come and it has gone. Everyone has acquired the cheating propensity. No one is truthful and everyone has become envious. So things has gone here and there. But in the nutshell, if you see, things are there. Still some person are very much inclined towards intellectual. They can think uh, some subject matter very nicely. They can present something very nicely. And at the same time, some people are there, they can just work, right? So that the real understanding, or what scripture suggests about it, not the what we have just made in here, right? There was an example, uh, I think it's from South India somewhere. The two brothers, so they were, very good in intellectual. They went to appear for IAS exam in India, and they both qualified. And as soon as the elder one qualified, he got the job and he resigned. He said, "What is? You just got a job IAS and you're resigning. Then why did you give the exam?" The person says, "Just I was trying to prove that I can qualify this exam. However, I do have interest in learning Sanskrit, so I'm just giving up this and I'm going towards my Brahmanical things." Right. And the devotee was explaining very nicely. Earlier, he was, in a school life, and when at the end, he became, as a worker in a company. He was working under his managers, and then later on he came back, started studying the scriptures and preaching the things. So the same person at the same different point of time, he is Shudra, he is Vaishya, and he is Kshatriya, he is Brahmanas. So depending upon time and circumstances, how are we acting on this, that gives us the knowledge of one and ashram things. And sorry, I think it's taken a more time for this, but I hope I try to make this to understand it clearly. But again, it's again a very huge topic and the discussion can go long and long. That's why Prabhupada in 13th chapter, he says that, this Vedic knowledge, the scriptures knowledge, should be understood by approaching a spiritual master and by hearing from them submissively. All right. Okay, so that was the answer for the last question yesterday. And let's continue from there. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Even, even in Varnashram also, there are so many divisions, kind of, Ashuri Varnashrama, Devi Varnashrama, and Vedic Varnashrama. So now what we are seeing is called as Ashuri Varnashrama. Just for their own selfish motivation, they have changed things into caste system kind of things, right? And they relate on that way. Okay, you are lower, I am higher. It doesn't, scripture doesn't say about the higher and lower. Even anyone who is washing pots in the kitchen, or the one who is actually doing arti to deities, both are actually at the same level for Krishna, because they both are serving to Lord. And the Varnashrama Dharma are actually meant to elevate us towards the spiritual life. Right? We'll see it. Narada Muni explains that in next 3-4 chapters. So let's go to chapter number 12. Now he's saying about the 4 spiritual classes. So in previous section or chapter 11, he's told about the 4 things. Now he is saying about spiritual classes. What is this? Is the he's actually he'll speak more about brahmachari in this section. So the 4 ashramas are brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. Brahmacharya means student life. Grahastha is household life. Vanaprastha is kind of about to retire, and sannyasa is retired life, right? And let's see what Narada Muni says here. He says, a student, or the duties of student, what should be it? He says, student should practice completely controlling the senses. How? By submissively uh, approaching to spiritual master, and he should live in Gurukul. We will see. We have seen, we had Gurukul system earlier where students are being taught very nicely. Even they used to give the Vedic knowledge to all the students. But now that has somehow or other gone. And then he says the students should study the Vedic mantras regularly, and they respectfully offer their obeisances to our spiritual master. And the brahmachari should not, he says more things like should not go uh, uh, out in the morning and evening. He should collect some alms, and all alms should be given to the spiritual master, and whatever spiritual master give him, he should be dependent on him, and he should be very well behaved, very gentle, and fully believing in the instruction of his spiritual masters and shastras. He should be very careful in associating with women, and it's being said that even he should be very much careful to associate with the wife of his spiritual master. So Prabhupada explains here that the spiritual masters, it need not to be always a kind of sannyasi. He can be householder as well. So the brahmachari, or the one who is taking teachings from teachers, should avoid association even with women. And Prabhupada says the injunction restricting association with women is the basic principle of spiritual life. Associating or talking with women is never advised in any of the Vedic literature. So that's again a long discussion goes with that. And then all the rules and regulations, they apply equally to the householder and also sannyasis. So even the sannyasis and householder also, they should be uh, using the time for spiritual practices, learning the spiritual mantras. They should be truthful, they should be kind of surrendered to a spiritual master, and they should be also doing the same things, even the sannyasis as well. And then he says the grahastha, however, is given permission by the spiritual master to indulge in uh, union with the opposite gender, and to kind of to procreate. So the when student life finishes, when he learn the teachings, and when he's capable of entering the next ashrama or a grahastha ashrama, so he should take permission from spiritual master, and by his permission he can enter grahastha ashram. Even there are many who don't want to take this kind of path of uh, grahastha and vanapastha and then sannyasa. They can directly go from brahmachari towards sannyasa ashram as well. It's again dependent on the person to person. It's person's will. It's not enforced by spiritual master. So if persons think that, okay, I don't have to go here in this entanglement, then it's good, okay. And if you want to go, you can take permission of spiritual master and go there. And then in spiritual life, he says anyone, either in any of this, either grahastha or vanapastha or sannyas or brahmachari, everyone is under the control of spiritual master. So they are actually always being control of spiritual master. So spiritual master is again who actually instruct how can someone elevate towards God of towards the kingdom of Lord. It doesn't speak much about the how you can earn money and how you can live lavishly, but that's again not useful in long term. And he says that one should realize that in the fire or in the spiritual master oneself, and he should actually sacrifice all things, and in all living beings, in all circumstances and condition, the supreme personality of Godhead Vishnu has simultaneously entered and not entered. He says basically Krishna or Vishnu is within ourself and outside as well. He should understand this logic through spiritual master, and he should be externally as well as internally in full control of everything. So that's basically teachings by Narada Muni, because to every one of in the all four ashrama, he should be internally as well as externally being full control of everything what he is doing on, what he is acting on. And then uh, especially says about brahmachari, he should be studying scriptures. He should not indulge himself in meat eating or wine or intoxication. He should avoid these things. And then very importantly, he says that he should apply his teachings in his life under the guidance of guru. And by practicing this way, whether one be in brahmachari ashram or grahastha or vanaprastha or sannyas ashram, and one must always realize the all-pervading supreme personality of Godhead, or he should be seeing the presence of Krishna in everywhere. And basically that is he explains about student life, and then he explains about vanaprastha, or third one. He doesn't talk about householder life. He actually speaks in next couple of chapters in an elaborate way. And then in he says about the duties of vanaprastha, that the person should be sober, self-realized, and who has full knowledge, and should try to merge the various parts of his body into his original souls, means giving, try to preparing himself to give up his life. And he should actually basically he should offer sacrifices, and take whatever it's there. He should not cook for himself, and he should live a very strict life with very strict rules and regulations. And he have to be very practical and take the instruction from spiritual master, and check according to the time and place and circumstances. So maybe sometimes even said this, in vanaprastha he can go out of his house for a year or 2 year or 5 years, so that to practice detachment, right? and and in a similar way, uh, eh, like let's for example, uh, if you see, when Dhruva Maharaj was about to do his austerity, and he was in the forest, and he was 5 years child, so there was not much of thing available for worshipping of Vishnu. And then Narada Muni says that no, you can just make deity by through the mud, and you can worship him. So depending on time, place, and circumstances, the things can change. And let's, for example, in this country, we don't find Ganges water, isn't it? We find Ganges in India, but not here. However, scriptures provide the mantras by chanting the mantra, and by chanting the mantra and by using some posture, and we can invite the pure water, Ganges, into that water, and then we can use that in our worship of Lord. And then so that's again a different things over there. So that point is very depending on the time, place, and circumstances, things changes here and there, and so we have to be very practical as well. And and this when this mortal body is returned to its various elements. So like it's being said that the holes in the body are caused by the sky. So the holes in the body should be offered to sky, and the process of breathing is caused by the air. So we know the five tattvas, the water, air, fire, earth, and ether. So and then again the heat in the body that has been caused by fire, and the semen, blood, and mucus are caused by water, and the hard substance like skin and muscles and bones are caused by earth. So these things should be given to all this. Basically, when we die, we just when the soul goes out, everything mixes with this all other things. And he says that when this metal body is returned to its various metal elements, and only by the spiritual being remains, means only the spiritual spark, the soul remains. This spiritual being is called as Brahmana, and he is equal in quality with Param Brahma. So this soul within us is in quality, it's equal to Param Brahma, and however we discussed in quantity, it's very minute compared to Param Brahma, right? And then in chapter 13, he explains about the behavior of a perfect person. And now he is describing the principle of sannyasa. So in previous chapter, in the very previous 12th chapter, he describes all four varnas and ashrams, varnas, and now he is describing uh, about sannyasa. In just 12th chapter, he described about student life and vanaprastha life, brahmachari and vanaprastha. Now he's talking about sannyasa, and then after that he will talk about householder life or grahastha life. And here he says that uh, a sannyasi should travel all over the world and should not stay at a village for more than one night. That means he should not be get attached to one village. Okay, I'm getting a food every day here. The householder are very nice. They are giving food to me every day, so I should be staying here only. So that's being attachment for them. So that's why I said that's again the point is it should be practical as well. And he should not stay at one place or one village for one night, more than one night, and should live on alms begged from door to door. And even it's described earlier that the 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 sannyasis, they used to go and they used to live in the, beg in the alm from one house, and they used to stay for some duration of time. And if something comes, and if that's sufficient for them, they won't go to the next door. For today, it's enough, finished. It means that they should not accumulate more and more wealth, and it's whatever needed for the same day. If they get it, they're satisfied, and next day they can go for alms again. And then he said that he should always be friendly, well-wisher to all living beings, and be peaceful. That's the nature of sannyasi. And he should be must is unalloyed devotee of Narayana. So it's not like giving up everything and becoming sannyasi without the consciousness of being an unalloyed devotee. It makes a disturbance to the society, right? So anyone cannot give up anything without the proper knowledge and become a sannyasi or vanaprastha. Should be in the proper knowledge why I am doing it, and how to act on it, right? Rather than uh, pretending it, it should be done with proper knowledge. And then he describes about the consciousness of sannyasi. The sannyasi should always try to see the supreme personality of Godhead pervading everywhere, and see everything, including this universe, resting on the supreme. So that's the consciousness of sannyasa. So the one who is on the stage of sannyasi, he should be fully in consciousness of Krishna, and he should be teaching the spiritual knowledge to everyone he meets. And then any literature which is useless or should be considered a waste of time, and he should not indulge his time in studying this literature which are useless and who are not related to Krishna, and that should be rejected by them. And and he should not unnecessarily read many books or give discourses as a means of livelihood. So he should not be making something like, okay, give donation and hear the lecture. It's not like that. uh, it should be This should be rejected by him, by the sannyasa ashram. And then he describes all the stages of sannyasa. And then Narada Muni narrates a story. It's regarding a Prahlad Maharaj, and he's talking with. So once Prahlad Maharaj were enthroned in the as a king of the demons, then he grew up, and as Prahlad Maharaj grew up, he actually went for hunting, and then Prahlad Maharaj could see a sadhu or a renounced order, or called as avduta, and who has nothing to do with material things. In the last stages of Rishabhadev, he wandered like avduta, like who is already in an exalted state. He doesn't have to follow any rules and regulations. However, Prahlad Maharaj saw him that the person was very, very healthy, big and fat. And by seeing this, Prahlad Maharaj approached him, and he asked him a questions. So this story been narrated by Narada Muni to Yudhishthira Maharaj. He says the Prahlad Maharaj went to him and asked a question. He says, "How are you maintaining your body without working? Because you are in a state of avduta, and we are not working anything, and you look very strong and fat as well." And then that the sages, he actually replied, sannyasa, he replied, saying that no, uh, it's all, I have a spiritual vision, uh, and he said, I know that you are the king of demon, Prahlad, and everyone respect you very well, and you know the different stages of life. You are a great devotee. You also know that these things. However, as you are asking, I will explain you. He says, our spiritual vision is awakened to Plasma. He's saying that your spiritual vision is awakened, and you can see any man, character, and results of action. So you already know everything. Then, however, my dear king, although you know everything, you have posed a question to me, so I shall try to answer according to what I have learned from authorities. learned by hearing from the authorities. So again, the point is the making talk on spiritual things should be heard from an authority, right? And then he says, I have completely realized the fertility of this metal happiness. So he's saying, this metal happiness is actually useless. It never gives happiness to us. At every moment, it actually brings some miseries to us. And then he says, material desires causes transmigration from one body to another, isn't it? And we have understood this in a earlier very, very nice examples as well. Definitely the desires which we have, Krishna is so merciful. He is so merciful that all of our desires are being fulfilled by him. So when we have good desires, even if we have uh, any desires, immaterial desires, Krishna fulfills us. So devotee explained that please be careful in having your desires. So if we have a desire for spiritual life, that's very good. If we have any desire for material life, and Krishna is going to fulfill you, so we have to take birth again. So make sure that our desires, to be very honest, it's not just one day thing. Okay, I'll give up my desire and I'll just desire for Krishna. It happens gradually. So when we chant the mantra, then today morning, I think today morning or yesterday morning, where we are reading, uh, it came that when we uh, chant this holy name, when we chant this holy name, the heart become purified, and gradually when it's purified, we are on the platform where there is no more material desires comes up, right? So that the way gradually when we chant the holy name, when we discuss about Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and take the holy name of Lord, when we serve them, importantly when we start taking prasadam, like by offering food to him, then slowly this metal hankering and desires goes away. We don't have to work. Krishna will take care of all these things. But we need to do is we need to bring Krishna in our heart gradually, and Krishna will take care of other things, right? And then he explained that this material desires are actually cause of transmigration from one body to another, and human life is a junction. This is the point where either a person can elevate or can degrade. So we have to work wisely. We need to elevate. We don't have to degrade ourselves. And that's why then he said, I have abandoned all material and engagement. And even uh, even a rich person, he says, even a rich person who may be very rich, but he is constantly insecure. He is in constantly thinking about, oh, I have so many money, but it might be plundered any time. Or he says, if not, then he have to give everything at the time of death. And so give up desire of prestige and money, which is the cause of fear, endeavor, and attachment. And then he says, very nice words, those in the human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty, and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all of these is the desire of unnecessary prestige and money. So because to earn prestige we work so hard, to earn money we work so hard. I'm not saying it's wrong, but the we need to think in a proper way as well. How can we use this money or things what we have to be humble, to be elevate ourselves, because the prestige, it binds us, it makes us more egoistic rather than humbler, isn't it? And that's why it's being recommended by Acharya that we should be we should be giving some part of our earning as a donation, so that the money get purified, and as the earning purified, we also, the body also get purified, right? And then he said that I'll take some more 5 minutes to complete this chapter. And he said, I have two, I have accepted two gurus or two spiritual masters. What are those? He says a B, and second is Python. So a B basically, he's saying that it gives us, it teaches us about detachment. So what bee does, he makes the whole beehive, isn't it? And all the honeys are there, but as soon as someone comes, and he actually breaks all things and he takes the honey. the bee still remained detached. He said, okay, what was there? There, gone, gone, no worries. So let me be satisfied with whatever I have. And then he talked about uh, second learning or second teacher. He says Python. Even Srimad Bhagavatam explains about 24 gurus we can get, like, tree, ant, snake, other things as well. These teachers are something and something and something. So here it comes Python. From Python, he's saying Python teaches us patience. Python doesn't move here and there for his own, fulfill of his fulfill the desire of hunger. He actually wait patiently, and anyone comes near him, he grabs and eat it. And so he says, we should learn to be satisfied with whatever we have achieved, and what's came in its own accord, without doing unnecessarily hard work. Definitely we have to do work, and it should not be much extended that we have forgot everything. Spiritual life should also be given a preference in our life. And then he explained that in terms of eating, whatever it comes to me, I eat. If less comes, I eat less. If more comes, I eat more. That's it. And in point of dress, so sometimes if I have, or even if I have gifted by someone silk dress, I used to wear it. Otherwise I wear the tree bark. So both remains same for me. And in times of sleep, I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep on stones, I can sleep on anywhere, whatever it is there, I can sleep there. And a lifestyle, the fourth point, he says, I sometimes take bath, I sometimes travel naked, and that's where I live. So that's basically point of fully detached. And Narad Muni explained that these are the qualities of sannyasa. So who are on the stage of sannyasa, they should be completely detached from everything. They should be satisfied whatever they have. They should be very much friendly to everyone. They should be giving the spiritual knowledge to everyone, and they should be very, very patient as well. And moreover, they should be very, very much focused uh, towards Krishna consciousness. And at the end, he says, uh, Narad Muni says that the sannyasa, he should try to connect everyone with Supreme Lord. Right. So I'll stop here, and we'll discuss two more chapters, 14 and 15, where we will discuss about the ideal family life. And then 15th chapter is again a summary of everything and a very nutshell, what Narad Muni is taught in these 4 chapters. Any thought, any questions? Okay, it's all okay? That's okay then. That's nice. Okay, thank you everyone for joining actually, and taking a part in our discussion. Okay, we'll wait here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You all tomorrow
Hare
at
Krishna.
7:30.
Hare Krishna.
Wait, tomorrow we start at 7:30.
Yes, Thursday.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.